midlife crisis looks like. My midlife crisis or yours. What I wanted to cover in this video is the difference between a midlife crisis and a midlife transition. And I figured I'd cover this because a lot of people are confusing the two as if they're one and the same. They are not. A midlife transition is something that the majority of people in midlife will go through, if not all of them. This is a point in time in your life where, if you had kids, they're leaving or have left, you found that you have an empty nest, or you're not finding much satisfaction in your career anymore, or you're advancing in your career, you're changing, you've decided to change your career. A midlife transition is where you find yourself in a place in life where you can transition into something a little bit different or completely different from the current life to something different. Just a different life. For some people it's a completely different life. A midlife transition might look like changing careers, but it's a planned change. There was something else that you wanted to do, you've been wanting to do maybe for a little while, you've done some research into it, and now you find yourself in a place where you can actually do it. And so now you begin to move towards that. That's a midlife transition. With a midlife crisis, we'll just flush the career down the toilet with no plans moving forward. I don't like it anymore. It's making me miserable. I'm done. Quit. So there's one difference between a transition and a crisis. Another transition just might be simply moving up in your career. And maybe in the course of moving up and moving forward in your career, this might require moving quite a distance from home, moving to another state or possibly even another country. Again, with midlife transition, there is some forethought into this. You're actually doing some research behind what this, upper position is going to entail. Can you do it? Where you're going to live? And maybe even checking out the place around there. But there's plans that go into it. You've already started talking about it with other people in your life. You're transitioning. With a midlife crisis, we'll quit the job we have and we'll move someplace that we suppose is going to give us a better spot in our career, something higher, and just wing it from there. It may or may not work out. There's a difference there between the transition and the crisis. Moving away from home, moving far away from home. The midlife transition, maybe you've always wanted to live in California or Florida or New York or wherever. And now you find yourself in a place where you can make this change, you can make this move. You have done some research into the area that you plan on moving to. You've got an idea about the economics over there. You've got an idea about the education level, or you got an idea about the crime rate. You have an idea of what it's going to cost you to live there. You've at least looked up, real estate prices, things like that. This is a transition. If it's something that you wanted to do before, or even if it's new, you just like, I want to live over here. But you do some research into it and you make plans for doing it. With a midlife crisis, you decide you're going to go someplace else, whether it's someplace you've ever wanted to go before or not, and you just make that move and you do no research into it at all whatsoever. There's no plans. Where are you going to stay when you get there? Most people in midlife crisis don't have a clue. They don't care. They just need to get there. So there's a difference between a transition and a midlife crisis. So I just wanted to cover this kind of quick in this video, how a midlife transition is not the same thing as a midlife crisis. Please understand that there's a reason why the word crisis is in the term midlife crisis. It's more than just midlife. It is a point in time in which you end up in a crisis, whether it's caused and created by you because of the way that you're feeling, or if the feeling itself is the crisis. But there's a reason why there's a crisis in there. We start doing things that are completely out of character, and we don't do any research into it. There's no plan. We just change that fast. Someone who's doing a transition, they make plans, they do research, and they make the change gradual. So there's the difference between a midlife transition and a midlife crisis. Please make no mistake that a midlife crisis is not simply a midlife transition. So if you have someone in your life who is in a midlife crisis, don't kid yourself into thinking this is simply a transition. And I've got a previous video that I've popped up, how long does a midlife crisis last? So this crisis is going to last a while. And if you have someone in your life who is actually having a midlife transition, don't mistake it for a crisis. Don't tell them they're having a crisis. Or if you're having a transition, don't refer to it as a midlife crisis, because that's not what it is. You're just making changes that you may probably have already known you were probably going to make at some point in your life. So there it is, the difference between a midlife crisis and a midlife transition. Share the video with anybody that you know that might be having a midlife transition. Share the video with anybody you know that might be having a midlife crisis. Or if you're not sure if somebody's either transitioning or having a crisis, share the video and ask what it is that they have going on. Click like, as always, because I don't know, I like my videos, or I wouldn't do them. Click subscribe, follow me along on this midlife crisis journey, and let's see if we all survive.